projects are delivered without even the consent of the Omahin.
A facility will be put up and they will not use it.
And people will be demonstrating against the chiefs because they thought the chiefs were aware.
But if we involve them right from the project inception stage through to completion, they will own the project.
Today is more of an introduction to CoST for us to get to know the core features of CoST and how CoST can help us to have better value for our infrastructure. We are also looking at how best we can work as communities.
Sekondi Takoradi chapter is the first sub-national charter of the CoST program. Globally, CoST is helping to promote better value from public infrastructure. And when you look at our motto, our vision says better lives from better infrastructure. So how can we get better lives from better infrastructure? Then those who are the direct beneficiary have to be involved in the whole process of getting this infrastructure done. So that's why we've organized this training by Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly.
Today I've learned a lot from the program, explaining to us how CoST is helping STMA to implement infrastructure projects. Now we are made to understand that implementation of projects from CoST should be transparent. We'll be made aware that you can ask for the name on how the award is awarded, the name of the contract, the length of the contract, the cost of the contract, and the community should be notified before the program starts.
Today I've learned how contracts should be given, how we, the elders of the community, have to come in partnership with the contractor and even with the STMA to see how the project is going on in our community.
It is here that I get to know that if there's any infrastructure taking place in my community, I have the authority to go and demand or ask whoever the contractor is, the source of the money.
Our target was 100 and we had 102 participants from the community level. You know, we had close to 25 communities within the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. This training exposed them to the core features of CoST, which is disclosure, assurance, multi-stakeholder working group, and social accountability. This will help the community leaders to be empowered with information relating to projects being implemented in their area, and also help them to be involved, because most of the time when we are doing projects, the level of involvement of the community is not there.
Now we've been made aware that we can come and ask STMA to give us the detailed information of how the contracts are being awarded. That's why I'm so pleased, and I'm so pleased we came to this thing. So we are deciding to help STMA to implement the CoST idea to the fullest.
As I'm not going to say that down, I have to also educate my people to know that anytime there's something going on in infrastructure in our area, we have to go and supervise and ask questions so that we must get good work in our communities.
In 2016 came about after a competition was launched for sub-national government, that's local government, to submit expression of interest, and that was done. And Sekondi Takoradi, we submitted our expression of interest, and based on our open government initiative that we have done, we were selected among the first 15 across the globe.
I welcome you once more to the launch of CoST Sekondi Takoradi's first assurance report. I dare say this is the main event of this program.
And I believe we all encourage
social accountability as a tool
for the bold decision they have taken.
The main purpose of the assurance process is to turn data that has been disclosed by procuring entities into a more easy to read and understandable by the ordinary citizens. So we engage an independent person to take all the data that has been disclosed by the procuring entities to be able for the citizens to analyze it and turn it into a compelling information which the citizens can understand. So when we do this process, we come out with also recommendation to help the citizens to demand for better improvement of infrastructure service.
In Ghana, it is estimated that the country is faced with 1.5 billion infrastructure deficit. Although there is and continue to be the significant investment in public infrastructure, there is a growing perception of corruption associated with the construction sector in the delivery of public infrastructure. The perception of corruption in public infrastructure delivery that is occasioned by the lack of access to information on procurement processes, particularly at the local level, has resulted in growing mistrust. Also, this perception is further reinforced due to limited avenues for citizens to access information on public works in a standardized and specified format for easy comprehension in order to hold decision makers to account. CoST Sekondi Takoradi is working at the sub-national level to implement transparency and accountability reforms within the infrastructure sector using CoST core features of disclosure, assurance, multi-stakeholder stakeholder working, and social accountability.
Better lives from better infrastructure is only guaranteed when the base or the foundation has been achieved, which is transparency in public sector procurement. If there is no transparency in public sector procurement, ladies and gentlemen, there can never be a better life. Because if there is transparency, that process will be transparent, the right contractor will be selected, there will be an imposed accountability on that contractor, and in the end, you and I will benefit because the right project will be delivered.
I want to congratulate CoST, but I want to assure you that all the MMDs will follow suit to SDMA. The two of us, maybe you and the rest, we should have a date so that we invite all the MMDs to the classes, and then we will present this to them, and everybody will take it on board. That is the assurance from the minister. So please, as I launch this bill today, all of us in this room, in SDMA, we are telling Ghana that we are ready to work and ensure that corruption goes away. Corruption, we have nothing to do with corruption. And on this note, I declare this report to be launched.
The general public should take interest in that process. At times you go to the tender room and you see only the companies who are paid. It is not the best. So that if they are with them from the word go, then they know the contract sum, they know the components and the rest. So the moment the contracts are awarded, the general public will be in a better position to police or to monitor the project. Some of the benefits we have acquired is that hitherto, like I said, there were not enough or qualified procurement officers in place. Thankfully, we have some in place now. So when we go there, we let them know what they have to do from day one. And these people have been policing and monitoring the assembly not to go wayward, because the auditors are there, both the regional auditors, the national auditors, and the external auditors as well. They always come to look through our books and the rest. So if you fall foul of it, it will go against you. Hitherto, situations were not like this. So when you look at the league table of Ghana, STMA were far below. But with the inception or without joining the CoST, we are moving up the table.
And if you look at Section 2 of the Public Procurement Act, the basis and one of the foundation or the pillars for conducting public procurement processes is transparency. So I would say what they are doing fits so importantly into the public procurement process and the work that we do as an authority.
na in some assurance team no what kind mobile we mobi say SMS me kind what shall cost amazing.
We are here at KOJOKROM and its environs, where we have the market shares and also Dia Bene community, where we have the 1.8 kilometer road. So we brought residents from this community together at a central point in KOJOKROM, the market, so to give them what the assurance report has captured.
Toilets, egwaye, mobe ya wade obem wambem. Diesramo. Sombogu sunsu amaya mungu so. Somungu sunsu na mubogu so amaya mungu so. Na ye bre.
Moko. Inti masada yando siana yanando. Inti wome ye mia ya hu. Na ye di KOJOKROM. Dia Bene nya na ye she ese na asno. Wome ye mia ya hu. Na yanje ne kese.
Na se bi wo container me na be send. Na se dey lisi bi ama. No this stores. O this open share. Enti na wade man wana container na wo mo twetwa. No asan so twetwa wo dey si. Why in stores? One worry to one on your open share or your container, close up container.
This has opened the MSGs our eyes. So we are going to work with the community leaders so that we push for the recommendations to be implemented by the by STMA.
CoST. Experience I've gotten from the other countries that we've met with is that for CoST to be successful, we need to have a national project, not a subnational project. We need to have authority. The authority that we have now is not enough. It's not enough to sort out the problems that we have. Most of the countries, as I said earlier, most of the countries where they have CoST, the presidents of these countries have made it a decree, a national decree. So it is much, much easier for government operatives and workers of the government to disclose information. But in our case, we have difficulties.
This project is very, very important for the group I even represented, especially the women group. We are talking about women and children. Okay, this project is talking about disclosure. When we talk about disclosure, if there's a project in a community where you are, how best do they disclose for you also to be aware of the project going on in your community? We talk about social accountability, we talk about a multi-stakeholder working group and all that. If you know of this project going on in your community, your participation in the project is key, and it gives you much information for you also to follow what is going on, for you to hold the duty bearers also accountable. In a community where there's a project like a market, hospital, schools, it affects the women group and the children more. So if you get to know of all these things, you also follow it, and it helps the development of the community that you find yourself, and it improves also the lives of the children and the women.
We have achieved close to 90% of our target because we have been able to have our assurance report, engage a procuring entity, Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. We've been able to build capacity of procuring entities. Close to 10 procuring entities capacity were introduced to CoST, and we are on doing the engagement for them to buy into CoST. We've also introduced the media to CoST. 100 community members were also trained on CoST for them to know what CoST is. So all these activities have been implemented for us to come this far, and the key one is the assurance process, which we've been able to go through so far.